Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts," and he's not wrong. For an adult, years of experience and regulation help us to control our thoughts and allow us to decide which things get our attention and which things shouldn't. But even with this discernment, we can still fall into the trap of stress and anxiety. We have a lot of it as adults. But for children, they have not had those experiences and regulations yet. So their thoughts and feelings are heavily based on the experience and expectations of the people around them. Now, we think that childhood is the least stressful time in our life, and with good reason. We look back and think of it as a time of playing and going to school and having friends and celebrating holidays with the family, and it seems like a lot of fun. But in reality, childhood can be one of the most stressful times of anyone's life. So let's look and see what we can do to help out with this. Now, children can feel stressors for lots of different reasons. They can feel stress from their interactions with their peers or their teachers. Their body is changing all of the time. They're dealing with social emotional issues. Maybe at home, things like going through a divorce with their parents fighting and arguing all the time, or separations, anxieties, and poverty. Things like that can cause a lot of stress to a child, and that can lead to a lot of adverse things. A child under stress can underperform in school, not because they're not intelligent or they don't grasp the concepts, but because their mind is on other things that are hurting them in their life. They can also have negative reactions with peers, things like lack of empathy or understanding, or lack of the want to follow direction in school. At home, it might seem like they're distant or maybe sometimes listless when all they're really dealing with is a lot of stress, trying to figure out what they're supposed to be doing as a child. So let's look at the first thing that we can do for our kids to help them de stress. Number one, journal. I know you guys have journals and you hear journaling all the time as it being the fix all to everything, but for young children, it is a way to express themselves outside of just a normal conversation, which can be very difficult for young children all the way up through high schoolers. But allowing your child to journal and encouraging your child to journal every day can open up an avenue of self expression and also give you insight on the things that are going different with them. Seneca said, "When the light's been removed and my wife has fallen silent, aware of this habit that's now mine, I examine my entire day and go back over what I've done, hiding nothing from myself and passing nothing by." Seneca took the opportunity as a philosopher to put it all on the page and in turn get it out of his stress and his anxiety. Now, children can do the same thing. Now, for older children, maybe junior high, high school, even later on in elementary school, you could buy them a nice journal, maybe engraved. Encourage them to write just a sentence or two every day about the things that they're struggling with. We formerly called it a diary, but now journaling can be done by anybody at any time. But for young children, journaling is just as important. Actually, taking some papers and just folding them in half to make a journal for the child to draw on is a way for them to express themselves. Make it a family time. Every night at 6 o'clock, we're going to sit at the table. Mom or dad or whoever is going to journal with their child while their child draws a picture of their day. Drawing is also journaling for a child. We had a child one time at my school that was dealing with all kinds of behavior issues. We just couldn't figure out what it was. One day I asked him to draw a picture of the things that was bothering him, and this is what he drew. Pretty scary, right? You see, at night, he was seeing this creature, at least in his dreams, emerge from the corner of his room and look like it was going to wrap him up and carry him away. Now, he said this was a dream that he had over and over again, but if you notice in the picture, mother is holding a child. So that led us to some insights that maybe the new baby coming into the family has caused him to have some anxiety, maybe feel separated from family, or that he didn't matter as much, and the fear that maybe something would come along and take him away. Now, right after that, we had a conversation with his family, and things dramatically improved in his life. He felt more comfortable, he felt more happy, and the behaviors started to go away. But that would have never happened if he didn't take the time to journal or draw a picture, in his case, to explain the things that he's dealing with. When we allow our children to do this, it is an outlet to release stress and give them a chance to calm and face the troubles of their day. Number two on our list is practice meditation. We suffer more in our imagination than reality, Seneca says, and that is so true, especially for kids. One of the things that causes stress and anxiety is not knowing what tomorrow will bring. You know, if their parents are going to fight, or if they're going to have food tomorrow, or a way to get to school. It causes lots of stress. But what we can do for our kids is provide them some meditation, time to talk through and think about what's going on through the day. Teaching your child to meditate is one of the most important things in reducing stress. But this requires some guidance and it requires what I like to call the 50-50 method. So let's say that you've allotted 10 minutes of time for meditation a night with your child. Now make a deal with your child. The first 5 minutes belongs to you. You want to ask questions about your child's day. You want them to think about the good things they did, maybe things that they did that weren't so good that they could do better tomorrow. In the process, training them to learn how to meditate with themselves. Now, the other part of the 50-50 is you give the last 5 minutes to them to do anything. It could be silly, it could be a tea party, it could be acting like your favorite superhero, whatever it is, but they know that they have that 5 minutes afterwards, and it serves as a motivator for their behavior. So they're motivated every night to meditate, to think about their day, to think about all the good things they did to help their friends, and the things that they could do better tomorrow. In doing that, it provides a consistent outlet for them to reduce their stress and be great kids. That's all they really want to be. Now, let's get down to our last thing to help reduce stress in our children's lives. And this is a big one: lower your expectations. If I asked you to recite the Iliad and the Odyssey in perfect Greek, would you be able to do that? Probably not. I wouldn't. But Cicero knew how to do it, did it all the time. He was a great orator. Now, would it be right for Cicero to expect you to do the same thing just because he knew how to? But we do that with our kids all the time. We look at them as tiny humans. They're not tiny humans, they're tiny children. They haven't gone through life experiences. They haven't dealt with the sorrows and the happiness and the joys. They're just learning how to talk and communicate, how to have friendships, how to follow rules, how to be useful people to other people. We have to lower our expectations. Now, I'm sorry, I have been in education for a long time and I've seen families push their children so hard to be the top of their class before the age of 6 that they start hating school and they regress. And they go from a child that's very creative and challenged and wants to do good to one that never wants to come to school again. But when we lower our expectations, when we temper our expectations to be at their age level, they'll rise to the occasion. Case in point, my daughter struggled in school. She had an expectation that she had to get a certain grade or that we were going to be very disappointed with her. So we talked to her and said, the expectation isn't a certain grade, but an effort. Provide that effort, show us that you're trying your best, and we don't care about the grade. We care about how much you're doing. Now, what happened was she put herself into that full force. And what also happened was she went back up to having top grades again because she felt the stress off of her that if I don't succeed, I will fail at all of that. And we know that failure is just a teacher. So I'm not saying that you can't want the best for your child. I'm not saying you can't hire tutors and coaches and everything else for them. But realize that children develop at their own level and speed. They look at the people around them and see how they behave and learn and act, and they pull those things in. And as they do, they grow and develop and become better citizens. That's what we want them to be. So reduce your expectations just a little bit. Let kids be kids, support them where you can, and when you see that growth and development, praise them for the beautiful job that they're doing. That will reduce stress. There are so many things that can cause stress to your child, but philosophy has given us tools to combat those things. Now, it takes time, dedication, consistency, and a lot of patience, but we can help our children live a less stressed life, which opens up pathways to learning and development and a sense of appreciation for self. That's what we want for our kids anyway. Let's be the parents that are supportive, that want to help our children reduce their stress, and we'll see the amazing benefits that come from that. A life fulfilled, happiness, the desire to learn, the want to be a good friend, and yes, the appreciation for parents. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for subscribing. please share and please comment below. I'd love to hear any strategies that you have for reducing stress with your children. And until next time, everybody, Semper Studiosus. Thanks for watching.